you know that SpongeBob was actually hijacked on TV back in 2005? What people saw that night was not normal. At first, it looked like footage from the season 2 episode, Your Shoes Untied. It started off with a title card with the word help. SpongeBob trips around like usual, heading to the Krusty Krab. Pretty normal, right? But then, things get weird.
Bye, SpongeBob.
Then the scene cuts straight to SpongeBob's house in the middle of the night, and inside, Gary is just sitting there, not moving, not blinking, just staring at a clock on the wall like he knows something bad is about to happen. This officer was teaching people how to stay safe on the road while hiding a horrifying secret. It was the end of 1986, and the news ran a short segment about staying safe if your car breaks down at night. The officer, Craig Allen, in the video calmly explained that walking on the road was dangerous and that you should never get into a stranger's car.
Anything could happen. Being a female, you could be robbed if you're a male, all the way to where you could be killed.
The advice seemed helpful, especially because just days earlier, a young college student named Kara Knott had gone missing. Her car was found on the side of a bridge, and her body was discovered below it. People believe she stepped out to get help. Then more stories began to surface. Dozens of women came forward saying they had been pulled over on that same highway. A patrol officer held them in their cars for over an hour, asking personal and sometimes sexual questions. The details matched the same area, the same pattern, the same night. When investigators checked the patrol logs, everything pointed to one man. It was the same officer who told everyone how to stay safe. This was one of the most shocking moments in WWE history. In June 2007, WWE was preparing to air a live 3-hour episode of Raw, but one of their top wrestlers, Chris Benoit, was missing. 2 days earlier, he told friends his wife and son were sick with food poisoning. Hours before the show, he sent strange texts with his home address and instructions for his dogs. No one realized something was seriously wrong. That night, instead of the usual matches, WWE streamed tribute show for Benoit, who was reported dead along with his family. Wrestlers shared emotional stories, calling him a loving husband and father.
I firmly believe this is the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do. Respect for his family, respect for himself.
But something didn't end up. As investigators looked deeper into the case, they found an old WWE promo Benoit recorded years earlier. In that footage, he looked into the camera and said,
"My wife and my children will not be watching Raw because I am going to do something that is unthinkable."
This police sketch was so strange that it turned into a meme and was even used in a video game. In 2014, highway workers in Geneva, Wisconsin discovered 2 suitcases on the side of the road. Inside were 2 women who had been strangled to death. One was identified right away as Laura Simonson, but the other body was badly decomposed and had almost no recognizable features. Investigators still attempted a sketch, and the result was shocking. The face looked warped and unnatural, but it was this exact image that finally led to a name. A family member recognized the pronounced cheekbones and confirmed the victim was Jenny Gomez, but some sketches never lead to answers. In 1964, teenagers were camping at Lake Bodom in Finland when someone slashed through their tent and attacked them with a blunt object. 3 were killed while 1 survived. Based on his testimony, police created a sketch. A man in black with large red eyes. He has never been identified, though a photograph taken at the victim's funeral captured a strange man in the crowd whose face looked impossibly similar. This joke on live TV became a chilling prediction of murder. Christina's Court was a courtroom show where Judge Christina Perez handled real disputes. However, one episode became memorable for all the wrong reasons. Comedian Sean Harris appeared to sue his ex-girlfriend for unpaid rent. The case was lighthearted, filled with jokes, until he aimed one at the show's bailiff. When Sean learned Renard had been married for 27 years, he laughed and said,
Child in my
People
own
in
house.
love, they yell at each other.
Oh, that's true. Ask him, he's been married for how long?
Over 27 years.
Over 20.
Look at him though, he look mad. You don't look happy, brother.
The audience loved it, and the moment became one of the show's funniest exchanges. But a decade later, in 2019, a sheriff's deputy, Renard Spivey, was charged with murdering his wife, Patricia. This happened after an argument at their home. Police found her body in the closet. Spivey got a 14-year sentence. He will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing the woman he once called his happily married partner. A teenager called 911 twice while trapped in his own car.
Cincinnati 911.
In 2018, a 16-year-old Kyle Plush arrived at school in Ohio for a tennis match. He climbed into the back of his 2004 Honda Odyssey to grab his equipment. Suddenly, the folding seat collapsed, pinning him upside down. Using Siri, he called 911 and begged for help.
Hello?
The dispatcher sent officers but never told them how urgent the situation was. They drove through the lot, laughing at the students' cars. Kyle called again. This time his voice was weaker.
I probably don't have much time left. You tell my mom that I love her if I die.
He gave them all the information they needed to find him, but then his final call went silent and the officers drove away. 6 hours later, his father found him dead inside the car, and to this day, nobody knows why. These 5 divers were pulled into an oil pipe, but only one made it out. Chris Budrum and his team were working off the coast of the Caribbean, fixing an old pipeline. When they removed a safety plug, the pressure suddenly shifted. The pull was so strong it sucked everything inside: the tools, the air tanks, and all of the 5 men. They were slammed through a narrow pipe full of oil and water, yet all 5 survived the pull. Trapped in total darkness, they found small air pockets where they could breathe. Chris, the least hurt man, started pushing forward to find a way out. The others were too injured to keep going.
Everything all right with you?
After crawling through flooded sections for what felt like hours, Chris reached the entrance and was rescued. The others were still alive, banging on the pipe walls, waiting for help. But the company refused to send anyone back, calling it too risky. And 2 days later, the sound of banging stopped. This 911 call became one of the strangest police cases ever recorded. In 2014, at 2:45 in the morning, 45-year-old Joseph Parker called 911 from Tennessee. His voice was shaky as he admitted something almost impossible to believe.
Okay, what's going on?
I shot my wife and I put her in the freezer.
He said he had shot his wife Samantha 2 days earlier and placed her inside their garage freezer. He thought she was gone until he checked on her hours before the call.
When I checked on her tonight and she's not dead. Got a big hole in the temple of her head.
Joseph told the operator that Samantha was still alive. He said she was frozen solid, unable to speak, and only blinking in response to his questions.
Please once, please just, please twice, please no.
He begged for help while driving away from the house so first responders could get to her.
She's in the garage. You go through the kitchen to get into the garage.
When officers entered the garage, they saw red hair sticking out of the freezer. Her body was frozen solid. Her wounds were obvious, and yet Joseph swore she blinked at him. But when investigators examined her, they learned she had been dead for days. The blinking, the answers, the entire conversation he thought he had with her never existed. This 911 call became one of the most disturbing in American dispatch history. In 2019, Deborah Stevens was delivering newspapers when a sudden flash flood trapped her car in rising water. She called 911, terrified, saying the water was already up to her windows and she could not swim.
911, where's your emergency?
I have an emergency, a severe emergency. I'm in a flooding.
Calm down. I need you to tell me where you are.
Oh, because I'm gonna die.
You're not gonna die.
But instead of helping her calm down, the operator got annoyed. She repeatedly dismissed. At one point, she even tried not to laugh before snapping and telling Deborah to shut up.
That's the dead end.
In the very back side, there's a bunch of trees.
Miss Debbie, you're gonna have to shut up, okay?
The water finally pushed the car deeper into the trees, and Deborah screamed that the car was moving.
Ma'am, please.
Hold on, mommy. Hold on. Okay, where are you moving to? Tell me where it's going.
Then the line went quiet. Rescue crews found her 12 hours later, still inside the vehicle. An operator who spoke to her was never punished in any way.